We follow up the discussion with Macharia Munene, who is a Professor of International Relations, United States International University. A very good evening to you, Professor Munene. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So let's just start with what the mood is like at this very moment. Do people see these as some sort of watershed elections of sort? What's in the media as we speak at the moment?
Well, there is a bit of tension in the country. Yes, the election is very tight, and there's a lot of apprehension as to what will or will not happen. It is a turning point election in the sense that Uhuru Kenyatta is on the way out because he served his 2 terms, but it is not very clear who will take over from him, given the closeness of the 2 leading candidates. So there is the possibility that it might go to a runoff, mainly because somebody else might take enough votes to deny any of them 50% plus 1, or the 24 out of 47 counties, 25%. So there is apprehension in the country as to which way things will go. Each side believes that it is winning, and claims that if it loses, there is a possibility that some malpractice would have taken place or some inappropriate behavior. And the IBC has raised some logistical concern when it cancelled a number of, at least 2 county elections for the governors. It raises the question, how ready is it? It has done its best, but there are these hiccups that make some people concerned that it may not be as ready as it can, and therefore the performance will be questioned. And the lawyers are very active.
I want to talk about that, Professor Munene. The performance, how it's going to be judged. On the one hand, there's the issue of polling and how accurate those polls are. There is the spectre of fake news, but more than anything, the fear of political violence because of those irregularities that have happened in the past, and there were concerns raised about how the Electoral Commission has behaved in the approving of certain candidates, and now there's a suspension of votes in certain counties. How is this adding up to the whipped up environment?
Well, it's increasing the apprehension, but there is also a way out, because the message going out, if anyone is not very happy about the outcome, go to the court, the Supreme Court, for the presidential election, the High Court and others for the other levels. So the belief that one can go to court, and the courts have proven themselves capable of handling very difficult issues, so there will not be violence, in the sense that people do believe in going to court. So those who are aggrieved would have time to cool down. So I'm not worried about there being violence, although there is no reason to ignore it, the possibility. There may be a little here and there, but there will be no violence in the country. What there will be is a lot of concern, and at least we know lawyers are working very hard to collect the evidence on both sides so that they have something to go to court for. And that is the picture right now. No one knows exactly who will win because it is so close. It is a toss-up, and anyone. So we are telling people, those who can, for the Raila people, prepare for a Ruto presidency, and for the Ruto people, prepare for a Raila presidency, because it can go either way. The opinion polls cannot be ignored. In recent times, they tended to give the edge to Raila Odinga, and but opinion polls have been wrong before. They have predicted things that did not turn out to be quite accurate, but they cannot be ignored so far. And that's why it is so tight, because there are those unknowns that will affect the outcome.
I want to talk about electoral laws, the electoral system itself, and particularly electoral education. Politicians play to the gallery, and as you mentioned, the predictions on the balance of power, where it lies, it really just, really relies on the optics that the politicians want to project. And if you could just share with me the areas that will be of interest. So we have Raila Odinga, who's run for the presidency 4 other times in the races that were just as tight, and that too has descended into some unfortunate, violent incidents. But he's now being backed by an unexpected ally, his longtime political rival and President Uhuru Kenyatta. And there's a belief that there's an ethnic-driven political landscape behind this alliance. Can you please talk us through this?
Well, yeah, it is. It does look as if it is a three-way run. Only that 2 of the leading people are on one side. That's President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga being on one side, and the Deputy President being on the other side alone. So it does appear awkward in this sense that now the outgoing president, is a major player in this race. The issue of ethnicity, I think sometimes it's overplayed. What we have now going is more of class development, some issues of, you'll notice that more of the upper middle class tend to be on the Raila side, and the people below that tend to be on the Ruto side. And increasingly the ethnicity is being downplayed in this election. That one may say maybe it's a positive development, but it is happening. That does not mean that there is no ethnic card in it. People will vote for Raila, particularly in Nyanza, and people vote for Ruto, particularly in the Rift Valley. But in the rest of the country, there appears to be some sort of a balancing issue concern as to what is going on. Okay. And because of that, it makes it very hard to say who is ahead and who is behind. And that's why we can say whoever rouses the emotions most is likely to carry the day.
All right, final question, the issue of the running mates and how they're going to influence the various demographics and, how they are populated throughout the country, women, civil society, urban educated Kenyans. Martha Karua is said to be a very strong force in boosting Raila Odinga's chances. Your thoughts about this and the various alliances that have been formed to fight these tough economic times, the landscape?
Well, Martha Karua has been a rejuvenating force in this campaign. It has given life to Raila Odinga's campaign, such that a few more people are more attracted to his candidacy than before. Yes, there are a lot of the civil society people are excited. A number of women are excited, particularly the elite level, the upper level. They are moving and they are talking. And she's been able to mobilize, mainly because she's a fighter. Martha Karua comes across as somebody who is fearless. She goes almost anywhere and makes her case. Whether it's accepted or not is another matter. So she's been able to create excitement in the Raila camp. On the other side, you have Rigathi Gachagua, who is also a very articulate person in terms of mobilization and speaking in public. But the two of them compared, you can see it is Martha who has energized Raila's campaign more than Rigathi has energized Ruto's campaign. But both of them are very strong campaigners with attracting their own crowds, which makes the campaign exciting. And the outcome of this is not so much what Martha or Rigathi does, is more what Raila and Ruto do or are perceived to be doing.
All right.
Only that will be adding some votes because of the excitement that she creates in the country. She has created excitement.
All right. In Nairobi, Kenya, Professor Macharia Munene, thank you very much, international relations experts, on what the landscape looks like ahead of those polls.